turn that up. Hey, everybody, it's Friday. It's also Christmas.
Merry Christmas. May your New Year dreams come true.
Yes, I can listen to this
song mine in 3/4.
All right, we better get started. Howdy, Dad here. Yeah, we have a little Karen Carpenter Christmas music. We're going to have a lot of Karen Carpenter Christmas today. We're just going to celebrate Karen Carpenter and Christmas today as we do Lunch with Dad. Thank you for stopping in. It's time for Lunch with Dad. We're going to have so much fun today. How you doing? Are you ready for Christmas? Have you got all your Christmas shopping done? Oh, I do. That's because I don't do any. Mom does it all. Mrs. Mom does it all. And I get to stay home and basically don't even have to shop for her because she tells me what she wants and we get it together. So I got all my Christmas shopping done. How about you? Oh, it's that time of year. Lovely time of year. All the lights are out. I tell you what, this week in Oklahoma City, it was 70 degrees all week. It was just a beautiful week. And yesterday the temperature went boop and it got cold. And the weirdest thing, we used to live in South Texas, in Houston, Corpus Christi. They had 4 inches of snow in Corpus Christi, Texas yesterday. That's like having snow in Orlando. It's just that crazy time of year. How you doing? Let's get started. Enough of my rambling. Let's get started. I'm supposed to stick to the script, but I don't do that very well. Well, let's see what we're going to do today. First off, we got to say thank you to our partners at Celebration Shirts, right over here somewhere over here. CelebrationShirts.com. They, if you go into Disney World and you want some cool looking shirts, go over to CelebrationShirts.com. They got a whole bunch of cool designs. We just love CelebrationShirts.com. Their Facebook page is really fun. They got pictures of people they've seen in the parks wearing their shirts. If you go wear one of their shirts, take a picture, send it to them, and they'll put it up right on their Facebook page. Pretty cool. They'll even make you custom t-shirts. We've got a store over there at Celebration Shirts, too, that has some of our designs right there for you to grab. Go over, use the code SFM, and you can get 10% off right now at CelebrationShirts.com. All right, today we got something cool going on. It's Christmas time. We got to give stuff away. It's time to give gifts. So today we are going to give a 1-year subscription to WDW Magazine. That's pretty cool. That's $47.99 for a 1-year subscription to WDW Magazine. Somebody's going to win it today. All you got to do, like, comment, share. Lunch with Dad, hit the like button, hit that little heart button a bunch of times, and that'll get you entered for our giveaway. At the end of the call, at the end of the day today, I'm hoping to remember. I got notes everywhere to help me remember. I forgot last week, but at the end of today, we will give away a prize of the 1-year subscription to WDW Magazine. All right. So one more quick announcement. I think things are going to go fine today, but Stephanie, my number 1 assistant, is at Walt Disney World today. In fact, she just got there a little while ago. We haven't heard from her yet, but she supposedly arrived about an hour or 2 ago. My other assistant, my number 2 assistant, Tatiana, is doing all the typing and stuff. So all the notes you see going up live, Tatiana's doing those today. She'll do a great job. She's really good. So I don't think there'll be any problems today. But Stephanie is at Walt Disney World. So over the next few days, she's going to be posting here on the Facebook account live from Walt Disney World for us. She's going to do a few of Dad's favorite things. It's that time. My favorite things. She's going to be bringing you a few of my favorite things while she's down there for Christmas. Because Dad's not down there for Christmas. This is usually the week I go, but this year we decided not to go during Christmas time. Just how the schedule worked out for us. But Stephanie's down there. She's going to be showing you some of my favorite Christmas stuff and some of my favorite things around Walt Disney World. So if you see posts at Walt Disney World Live, that's okay. It's not me, but it's Stephanie, my number 1 assistant. So what are we going to do today? You probably wondered, hey, Dad, get on with it. Here's what we're going to do today. We're going to start out, we're going to talk about the news first, and then we're going to do, we've been doing the series of my 5 favorite things, and this week it's going to be my 5 favorite things at Animal Kingdom. Last week we did Hollywood Studios, a couple weeks ago we did Epcot, months ago we did Magic Kingdom, so today we're going to do Animal Kingdom. Then we're going to talk about how to say thank you to a cast member. Have you ever wondered how to say thank you to a cast member? Well, today that's what we're going to talk about. Then I'm going to answer questions. I don't have very many questions today, so this is a great day. If you've got questions, just stick them in the comments and we'll get to your questions. We're going to have lots of time to answer questions from you today. And then we'll have a few final thoughts. All right, so the news. Who's been watching the Disney news this week? There just hasn't been much there. It's been real quiet. It's kind of that time of year, like Karen Carpenter just sang, it's that time of year when Disney doesn't do a lot of news because everybody's working on the crowds. The crowds are starting to build before the Christmas week. It's just kind of that time when everything is turning to Christmas. So it's that slow time of year. There's not a lot of news, but there's a couple of cool things. First, it came out this week. There are some new holiday treats available in the parks, and some of these aren't really treats snack-wise. They're actually meals, but for example, at Casey's Corner, there's a new hot dog called a Hot Diggity Holiday Dog. And it comes with cranberry slaw and pulled pork along with the hot dog. At Cosmic Rays, they have a Baw hamburger. Baw hamburger. It has turkey, cranberry sauce, and cornbread stuffing on it. So they're doing... Magic Kingdom had several different places that had these holiday treats. Epcot had a few. All of the parks had a few, but Magic Kingdom had the most. The other parks, they tended to be just sweets, cupcakes, and things like that. But there are some pretty cool things in there, so you might want to go look at that. The one thing that really caught my eye was a Dole Whip in a holiday mug. Now, that's something I need. Unfortunately, I'm going to get one of those. Stephanie's going to eat one for me, though. I know she will. Next, like I said, it's been a real slow news week. So the other things that we're seeing this week are details of some coming attractions. The Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster. Information came out about the Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster. It looks like it's going to be a very family-friendly attraction. It's not going to have any inversions like Rock and Roller Coaster. It's going to be more on the order of Space Mountain. Maybe a little jerky, but kind of like Space Mountain. They said the cars you will sit side by side, so there'll be 4 people in a car, 2 side by side, so 2 and 2. And so it's going to be different from, Rock and Roller Coaster is 2 and 2, but you're not going to do this. It's more like Seven Dwarfs Mine Train or something. So that's about, just not much more detail than that, but that sounds pretty cool. The other one today, actually, they put out some pictures of some of the buildings, some of the landing areas for the new Skyliner, the Disney Skyliner, the gondola thing that's going to go from the Art of Animation and the Pop Century to the Caribbean to Epcot and Disney's Hollywood Studios. They put out pictures of Epcot, Disney Hollywood Studios, and of the Caribbean Beach Resort, the buildings that are going to house it. It just looks cool. I can't wait to ride that. Sometime, probably 2019. They're still a long way away from having that ready to go. But that's the news of the week. That's it. It's just not a lot of news this week. All right. So, how is everybody? I said that already, haven't I? I wish you could talk back to me. I just love to be able to talk to you, but we haven't found the technology quite to do that yet. One of these days, we're going to be able to talk to each other live. I can't wait for that. All right. So, my 5 favorite attractions at Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom, I love Animal Kingdom. I love the park. But when it comes to attractions at Animal Kingdom, it's really hard to pick five. It really has been hard to pick five. There are some obvious ones. Number one, my favorite attraction at Animal Kingdom, the safari, Kilimanjaro Safari. That's one of the first things we do every time we go. We go directly to the safari. I could ride around on that thing all day long. It's just my favorite attraction at Animal Kingdom. Then after that, it gets a little more, well, two, three, there's that just so much head and shoulders above all the rest. Number two on my list is Maharaja Jungle Trek. The thing over where they've got the tigers and the bats. Tigers and bats. How does it get any cooler than that? I think there's spiders over there too. The spiders may be on the other one, but tigers and bats. It's just I enjoy walking through those walkthrough exhibits where you've got all the different animals. So Maharaja Jungle Trek is my number two of my favorite attractions at Animal Kingdom. Next comes number three, Flights of Wonder. I love the bird show. It's one of the things we do every trip. I don't think there's ever been a trip we haven't done Flights of Wonder. Even though I've seen it over and over, I know Guana Bob, Guana Jane, one of them's going to come up. It's fake and silly, but just love the birds in action. Love watching the birds in action. And that was three. So now we got number four. What do we got? Expedition Everest. Expedition Everest. Here we go. We're going on a ride. We're going up and then we're going to come down backwards. Ah! First time Mrs. Mom and I rode that together. Mrs. Mom just screaming and yelling. She's grabbing my arm. She's got my arm. She left marks. And then she's yelling, I don't ever want to ride this guy. And we get off the ride. She says, can we go again? It's just that kind of ride. It's one of those, I don't like this, but I like this. The car wreck type of rides. I got to do it again. But Expedition Everest is one of my favorite things to do at Animal Kingdom. Now for the fifth one. The fifth one I've gone back and forth. Avatar Land, I'm going to have to do some more. I'm going to have to go to those attractions. I would love to say that Flight of Passage would be my favorite because it's just an incredible attraction. It is really spectacular. But the problem is I can't keep my eyes open because it makes me sick because of my motion sickness. Now, maybe if I do a patch or if I take a pill or something like that, I'll be able to do Flight of Passage but I just can't do it. And that kind of makes it hard for me to rank that as one of my favorites. I enjoyed the Navi River journey, but I didn't quite get the story out of the Navi River journey. So that one I can't put on there. So, there's Dinosaur. I don't ever ride Cali River Rapids. Don't want to get my feet wet. That's just me. It's just me. I know some people just love it, but it's just me. I don't do those things. So what is a fifth of the shows? I love the singing in the shows. Finding Nemo, the musical. The Nemo person is just really, really good. But this time when we went, there were some new people singing some of the parts, and I didn't think they were quite as strong. So what's my fifth ride? Let's go with A Bug's Life. It's A Bug's Life. That's pretty cool. The 3D glasses, the little butterfly that starts it off. I like 3D stuff. So let's go with It's a Bug's Life as my fifth attraction. That's my fifth favorite attraction at Hollywood Studios. So what are your favorite attractions at Hollywood Studios? What do you like? Put them down in the comments. I'd love to hear what you like at Hollywood Studios. And by the way, when you put them down in the comments, you enter to win our 1-year subscription to WDW Magazine. I started to pick up the calendar, but we're not giving a calendar away. We're giving a 1-year subscription to WDW Magazine away today. So What do you like at Animal Kingdom? What are your 5 favorites? Dad, you're all wet, but what do you like at Animal Kingdom? Alrighty, so I got a piece of got something making my nose itch. Sorry about that. Let's talk about something else that went on this week. A little bit of news. It's kind of news. Our partners at the Official Ticket Center sent me a note this week and said, hey, we got something really big going on. I'll have details for you in just a few minutes. And they sent me another note. Okay, here's what it is. We're able now to sell a 2 and 3 day base ticket and upgrade those to park hopper tickets. So if you buy a 2 or 3 day base ticket from now to sometime in February, if you buy a 2 or 3 day base ticket, if you're going to Disney World and you need a 2 or 3 day ticket, this is a great offer. 2 or 3 day base ticket, and it upgrades automatically to a park hopper. Buy the base ticket, get the park hopper. It's only the 2 or 3 days. Great stocking stuffer if you're going to Walt Disney World next year. That's a savings of $52.19 or something like that. But it's over $50 worth of savings to upgrade that ticket to a park hopper. Now, our partners at the Official Ticket Center, they'll send you a voucher that's good for 1 year. You have to use it within 1 year. You have to activate the voucher within 1 year. But you can buy it today. You can use it in the summer. You can use it Christmas week. You can use it anytime during the year. Our buddies at the Official Ticket Center, Patrick, I talk to him pretty regularly, a couple times a month at least. They have an office that's just a mile from Walt Disney World. They're right there. They're the only Disney authorized ticket reseller with an actual physical office presence, with people working in the office, not just some mail drop, with people working in an office there in Disney World. They are authorized by Disney to do this. They even have a Disney computer, a Disney ticket computer in their office. So it's all legit. You're not getting one of those side of the road stand tickets, but it's a legitimate ticket service that's authorized by Disney to resell tickets. It's called a Disney ticket reseller. This is a really great deal. If you're going to go for a short period of time, 2 or 3 days, this is the time to buy your tickets. Hi, Sarah. I see you popped in here. Sarah's my friend. We used to work together, so I like saying hi to Sarah when she's here. Anyway, all right. I can't read all of the things that go by, but sometimes things catch my eye. What happens is when I'm talking, there's my computer's right here, and the comments scroll, but they scroll by so fast in my glasses I'm sitting so far, but I just happened to notice Sarah. But hello to everybody else too while you're here. All right, so let's see. I'm probably a little behind on my music. I was going to play this. Let's just play it since I forgot.
Just hear those sleigh bells jingle and ring, ting, tingling too. Come on, it's love.
Oh.
Leave your weather for us.
Wonder what caused that. Okay, anyway. So, Christmas music. Sleigh ride together. Karen Carpenter. We're playing songs from Karen Carpenter's, what is the name of that album? I should know. Christmas Portrait album. Woohoo! It's a cool album. It's one of the first albums we bought years ago. But it's a shame that she's not around to add to the Christmas spirit. She had great Christmas music. All right, so next. Sorry that something is really making me itch. Live. There's nothing like live, right? So the next thing we're going to talk about is how to thank a cast member. A couple of weeks ago, we had a question about, I don't even remember what it was about, but in there we talked a little bit about how to thank a cast member. I think we were talking about tipping. That's what it was. We were talking about tipping, and some things came up about how to thank cast members. I wanted to go a little more in depth about that and do a full answer on how do you thank a cast member at Walt Disney World. So I came up with 9 ways to thank a cast member. Let's just play the music. I had to go. No, never mind. It's this one. Let's play the music. Never mind.
Play funk music.
Never mind. So, it was going to be, thank you for letting me be myself. Again. How do you thank a cast member at Walt Disney World? The first way is you can create your own thank you cards. Just go out on Pinterest. There's a bunch of them, or if you're very artsy, you can create your own, but create thank you cards in advance and have them ready to go. Put 4 or 5 of them in your backpack, whatever you take into the parks, and whenever some cast member does a great job, give them a thank you card. Thank you, and be sure to tell them, hey, I want to say thank you. Here's a card. Second way is just to say thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. You've done something special. Let them know when they've gone above and beyond. Say thank you. Number 3 is to tweet about it. Yes. Tweet. Let's see if this one works. Okay, so tweet about it. There is a Disney account, official Disney account, at WDW Today. That is the official Disney account. And when you tweet to at WDW Today, use the hashtag #CastCompliment. Disney monitors that account. They monitor it. They look for those kind of things. They see those cast compliments, and they take those, and actually they're going to tweet back to you and say thank you and something like that. But when you do that cast compliment at WDW Today, Disney takes that and they put it in the cast members' files. It is a good way of thanking a cast member. It really does get attention. Okay, and if you add a picture, it really helps. Speaking of pictures, take a picture with them. Go to the cast member and, hey, could you take a picture with me? Not of me, but with me. That's just kind of doing that personal, making it happy, making it fun. Go to a PhotoFast photographer. Can I take a picture of you? Take pictures of them. These are for the people that you can't tip. You know, most of the cast members at Disney World, you can't tip. So for those people, you've got to find interesting ways to say thank you. One of the most best ways you can thank them, if they really did something special, get their name off of their badge that they wear. Get their name and where they're from. You'll know where they did it, but to get their name and where they're from, go to guest relations. Go to guest relations and ask for, let me see, I wrote this, the guest service fanatic card. The guest service fanatic card is something that Disney uses for cast members to really, it's kind of the ultimate way that cast members get recognized. Now, other cast members, other Disney, managers and people like that can fill them out, but guests can too. That Disney fanatic card is really, really important. That goes into their file and they get recognized during team meetings and things like that. It's really a big deal. You can also contact Disney Guest Communications. Write or email or call Disney Guest Communications. I've got the phone number. The phone number will be down in the comments. The email address will be down in the comments. But that's another way that you can thank cast members. I still got 3 more. Come back and visit them. Return to the scene of the crime. If you've had great service, if something's gone well with the cast member, go back to, believe me, their managers are watching. Hey, is so-and-so here? I want to, whatever. If, at a gift shop, hey, was so-and-so here? She was helping me with something, and those kind of things. If they're not working, the higher ups do take notice of that. Write a letter to them when they get home. Be personal. Tell them about your experience and thank them for their experience. So you can send it to Guest Communications. The address will be down in the comments. But write them a letter. Write them a note. You can email or write a note, but handwritten notes are always appreciated. And then the last and most important way you can thank a cast member is just to be kind, be considerate, say thank you, follow instructions, keep your hands and head and body parts inside the boat, inside the ride vehicle at all times. There's no reason for you to be to not follow the rules. That they're there for your safety. Those people are there to try to help you. I know at Disneyland, I didn't even think about it. We were standing in line and some little kid walked by and they had their hands up, and so I reached out and gave them a high five. Well, the cast member stopped the ride because she had to. It's their rules, and she looked at me. So maybe she went a little overboard, but that's the rules. They've got to follow the rules. Just be kind and considerate. Think about what they're going through. All right, so those are 9 ways to thank a cast member. If you've got any others that you know of, or if you've been a cast member and you've experienced it, put it down in the comments. We'd love to hear those kind of things. Just add it to the comments. We'd love to hear any other ways that you could thank a cast member. All righty. So, remember, we got 2 things. Remember that we've got a giveaway going today. If you like, comment, or share, you'll be entered to win a 1-year subscription, a full year, 365 days of WDW Magazine. This month's WDW Magazine, really, really good. We did what's coming in 2018. Dave Shute and I, from Your First Visit, every year we do this at the end of the year, we did a look at the crowd levels each month in 2016, what we each think the crowds will be like in 2016. That's something we do every year in WDW Magazine. So if you're not a subscriber to WDW Magazine, you should be. It's the best Walt Disney World magazine available. It just is. There's nothing else that compares to it. The pictures are incredible. The articles. We even have videos in there. So if you're not a subscriber, you can subscribe today. It's only $5 a month if you subscribe monthly, $47.99 a year if you subscribe yearly. But go over and get you a subscription. Like, comment, or share here today, and you could win a 1-year subscription. Just really cool. All right, so time for questions. All right, but before that, let's do a little more music.
Christ the Lord, King of Kings, Prince of Peace, for all the universe.
I would love to just sit around and play a whole day of Christmas music, but if you play more than 20 or 30 seconds, Facebook cuts you off and says it's a copyright violation. So we can't do that, but we can play little snippets. So that's why we just play little snippets of music. Anyway, let's move on to questions. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them here. We've got like 3 already. Okay, we got 3 already, but I'm going to go through the ones we got on our Ask Dad page. I think there's 6 of them, and answer them. And it shouldn't take too long, 15, 20 minutes, and then we'll answer all your questions. All right, here we go. This first one is from Kathy in Peoria, Illinois. We are staying at the Treehouse Villas of Saratoga Springs in January. We have read how much longer it takes to use Walt Disney World transportation from there. If we drive to the parks, is resort parking close to the entrance? One of the perks we have always liked is the fact that we can park our own car when we arrive and don't have to worry about finding their parking spaces or door dings from other excited guests exiting their vehicles. Kathy, I love the idea of staying at the Treehouse Villas. Those things just look cool. I mean, they just look interesting. They're so different from all the other hotels. But the problem with the Treehouse Villas is that the transportation at the Treehouse Villas is, let's just say, less than ideal. It's just not very good. I mean, to get to the bus, you have to take a bus to get to the bus. It's kind of like that over at the Fort Willers campground. There's an internal bus for the Treehouse Villas that takes you to the bus that goes around Saratoga Springs. The Treehouse Villas are at Saratoga Springs Resort. So if you've got to take a bus to get to the bus stop, it's just not very, there's just not a good way to use Disney transportation at the Treehouse Villas. And if you're on the internal bus and you just don't happen to get there at the right place at the right time, it could take you an hour to an hour and a half just to get to a park. That's why I like having a car at Disney World for most of the resorts, just because I like to be in control of time. And it's just really hard at somewhere like the Treehouse Villas. So let's talk about when you have your own car at Disney World. By the way, check out our car at Walt Disney World, our car at Disney World page. I'm sure it's going to be down in the comments if it's not already. Take a look at our car at Disney World page and see why I always like to have a car at Disney World. Now, let's talk about the parking lots and the parking. And, you've got control. If you're driving, you've got control of when you leave, and you're not dependent on waiting for the bus. I will say Saratoga Springs buses don't run as often as, say, a Pop Century bus or an Art Animation bus or a Value Resort bus or even a moderate resort bus. You might have to wait 20 or 30 minutes for a bus even after you get to the bus stop. So it's just not the best option is using the buses. Now, if you have to, you have to. But if you have the option of using your own car, I would say use your own car. Let's talk about the parking lots at Walt Disney World. You talk about door dings and resort parking. Resort parking at the parks at Walt Disney World is the same parking as general admission parking. Everybody goes in the same entrance. Everybody parks in the same spots. Now, I will say that Disney has probably the most innovative parking lots I think I've ever seen. Instead of everybody going in, parking side by side, everybody goes in at an angle. So the first one that goes in, the second one is not quite, you're not door to door. So if you open a door next to somebody, you guys aren't opening door to door to where they're coming together. So it's really kind of cool how that all works out. You don't have as many door dings. Also, excuse me, the parking lots, they're not north, south, east, west. Although if you drive in, you're driving in north, south sometimes, but they're set up to where you don't have that prevailing wind that grabs the door out of your hand and hits the car next to you because of the way the angled parking is. It's not with or into that prevailing wind. So you don't have that typically. Now, there can be times when that happens, but for the prevailing winds, you don't have the prevailing winds blowing across your cars and ripping the doors out of your hands for the most part. So it's really set up very well. Very innovative parking lots. So if the bottom line is, I would suggest you use your own car because using the Disney transportation around is at Treehouse Villas, it's just not a good idea. It's just not a good idea. Parking lots are really cool. and you control when you go to the parks. All right. Next, let's see. That was 2 pages. So, all right. Here's the next one. This one will go by really quick. I just have to play this music though. Hail to the Chief, yes. This one comes from Christy. Christy asks, any news on the opening of the Hall of Presidents? Christy, no, there is no news. There's not a peep unless something's happened in the last hour about the Hall of Presidents. Now, this week, I did see 3 different blog posts. There was one that said it'll be open before the end of the year, by Christmas. There was one that says it would open in mid-2018, and there was one that says it's never going to open again. And these are all from big bloggers, big name bloggers, 3 big name bloggers, 3 different stories. So I don't think anybody other than Disney knows when the Hall of Presidents is going to be open. I'm not even sure Disney knows. Could it open by Christmas? You know, that's what they told us, that it was going to open sometime this year. Yeah, it could. My guess, if you were to put a gun to my head and said, Dad, when will the Hall of Presidents open? I will say mid-2018. I would probably say April or May, just because I think they want to get it away from, or they may do it, actually, they might do it the same time as Toy Story Land opens. And that way it kind of buries the opening, because Disney is really not comfortable with the president, with Donald Trump at the Hall of Presidents. They're not comfortable with that, even though he's the president. So they may bury the news of that in the Toy Story Land opening. I don't know. That's just something that could happen. My guess is we'll see it April, May, but who knows? All right. Next one. This one comes from Dana in Thunder Bay, Ontario, Canada. Dana says, hi there. I have a large family, 6 kids under 12, and we are driving from Canada to Orlando to visit Walt Disney World in June. We are trying to do this as inexpensively as possible. I wonder if you have any recommendations on where to stay. We are willing to camp in a tent or rent a house if that's possible too. Also wondering if you have any good links on how to do Disney on the cheap, or any secrets. I know that Disneyland has some secret things, like a restaurant that has a secret knock behind some vines or something. Thanks in advance, Dana. Dana, 6 kids under 12 from Canada to Disney World. Wow, that's gotta be fun. I know we used to travel from Texas to Disney World, so 20 hours, 20 or so for us from here, from Oklahoma City, it's like 20 hours. So yeah, it's a nice road trip. Now, doing Disney on the cheap. Do I have any links that will help you save money at Walt Disney World? Absolutely. Do I ever? The one I recommend, it's something I own, I started, is the WDW Discount Club. WDW Discount Club has information about how to save on hotels, how to save on meals, how to save on all kinds of stuff. That's what we do. We talk about how to save money at Disney World. If you subscribe, you get access to some special savings, some special things that have been offered, special discounts that have been offered. So go over and look at the WDW Discount Club, the wdwdiscountclub.com. Link will be down in the comments. That's the first place to go to save money on Walt Disney World. Now, there's plenty of other places you can go to look, but the official ticket center for buying tickets, that's another place you can go to save money. Our partners at Destinations to Travel will help you save money on your hotel room. All right, so when it comes to where to stay, camping, if you've got camping equipment and you want to bring it with you, absolutely. The Fort Wilderness Campgrounds is a really, really nice place to stay. It's about $87 a night, which is about half of what it costs to stay in a value resort. And you could, all 6, 7, 8, all 8 of you stay in that campsite. Whereas in even a value resort, you're going to have 2 rooms. Unless you get a suite, which are incredibly expensive. Unless you get a suite, you're going to have to get 2 rooms with eight people. So you're talking about $300 a night to stay in a Disney hotel, minimum. Fort Wilderness Campgrounds at 80, what is it? I wrote the number down here. Where is it? I thought I wrote it down. About $85 a night, $87 a night, $90 a night for the campgrounds. Now, the other alternative being staying off of Disney, since you have your own car, you can get back and forth. Staying off of Disney property is staying at a house. Around Walt Disney World, there are thousands of houses that you can rent. And they will sleep anywhere from 4 to 20 people, depending on the house. But getting houses that sleep 8 with 3, 4, 5, 6 bedrooms, not a problem. Most of them come with their own pool, private pool. They'll have kitchens. You'll be able to bring food. That's probably your number one savings, is bringing your own food from home. You can bring food. So there are houses, several, around Walt Disney World that you can rent that will sleep 8 for between $100 and $150 a night. That's a pretty good option, is to be able to go at between $100 and $150 a night for sleeping 8 people. And you might even find some cheaper. I know our friends that we had, they paid $125 for a week for a house that slept 12. That had 5 bedrooms. Now that's not usual. That's not the usual thing, but you might find a deal where you can get most of your you can get it for really cheap. But anyway, so the bottom line is, I think I would go with the house. Now, it will cost you a little extra because you'll have to pay for parking unless you buy an annual pass. Depending on how long you're going to be there, you only have to buy 1 annual pass, and your parking is free. Now, that may not work depending on how long your stay is going to be. But that's an option. That's a way to save money. Get an annual pass, and the parking is included. And with the annual pass, you get all kinds of discounts to restaurants and souvenirs, gift shops, 10% in a lot of restaurants. Right now, they're doing 20%. I don't know if that'll last into next year, but right now, a lot of restaurants are doing 20% discounts for annual pass holders. So you might want to look at getting 1 annual pass so you get free parking and the discounts. But those are some ways that you can save on your trip to Walt Disney World. I hope you guys have a lot of fun. I think a 12-day road trip, I know when we were growing up, it was not unusual for us to pile all the kids. And I got 4 brothers and sisters. There are 5 of us. So pile all of us up in the car and drive for a long time. All right. Next question. Here we go. We got to turn that up. Hey, everybody, it's Friday. It's also Christmas.
Merry Christmas. May your New Year dreams come true.
Yes, I can listen to this all. All right, we better get started. Howdy, Dad here. Yeah, we have a little Karen Carpenter Christmas music. We're going to have a lot of Karen Carpenter Christmas today. We're just going to celebrate Karen Carpenter and Christmas today as we do Lunch with Dad. Thank you for stopping in. It's time for Lunch with Dad. We're going to have so much fun today. How you doing? Are you ready for Christmas? Have you got all your Christmas shopping done? Oh, I do. That's because I don't do any. Mom does it all. Mrs. Mom does it all. And I get to stay home and basically don't even have to shop for her because she tells me what she wants and we get it together. So I got all my Christmas shopping done. How about you? Oh, it's that time of year. Lovely time of year. All the lights are out. I tell you what, this week in Oklahoma City, it was true. How are you going to be able to do this for the least money? Okay, I don't know if I can make all of your wishes come true, but I ask our partners over at Destinations to Travel to answer this to help give a little background on what it costs, since this is what they deal with all the time. So it's Nancy Castile, who is one of their agents, one of their really good agents, has this answer. It all depends on how many people are in your family, their ages, what time of year you would like to visit Walt Disney World. If you want to visit all 4 parks, tickets alone for 2 adults and 2 children, ages 3 through 9, would be around $1,400. That's for 4 nights for 4 people. Okay. Unless Disney offers a special for 4-day tickets to all 4 parks. There are good neighbor hotels around Walt Disney World where you can save money on your room. For a week stay in a nearby hotel and 4-day tickets to Walt Disney World, you would need at least $2,000 for a family of 4. Some off-site hotels offer free breakfast with your stay, but you would still need money for food and souvenirs. I would add to that the average trip to Walt Disney World right now is 6 days. That's the length of the average trip. And addition to that, the average price of a Disney trip is around $3,000 to $3,500. Now, not everybody spends that much, depending on how long you stay, depending on whether you buy the dining plan, depending on a lot of things. It could change. Like we said just a minute ago, a real good way to look at how to save money is to go to the WDW Discount Club, where we've got all kinds of information. Get your tickets instead of from Disney, get them from the official ticket center because they have cheaper tickets. Stay off site is a way to save money. Like we just talked about, staying in staying in a house off site is a way to save money. So $2,000, depending on how long you want to stay, is possible. If you're only staying for 3 or 4 days, if you're staying for 6 or 7 days, then we're talking more like $3,000 to $4,000. All right, so I hope that helps. All right, next question. All right, I'm going to skip the music on this one. This one's going to go pretty quick. I've got 2 more questions. If you've got any questions, I got 3 more questions. If you've got any questions, please put them down in the comments right now, and we'll get to them here in just a couple of minutes. All right, so here we go. This one's from Christy in Nova Scotia. She says, what are the best transportation options for traveling to and from the Pro Bowl in 2018? We are staying at Saratoga Springs. Thanks in advance. Christy, it's just amazing how little information there is on the Pro Bowl and Walt Disney World, especially when it comes to transportation. I can't find anything about shuttles, about anything for the Pro Bowl. It's really not that big a deal. My guess is there will be shuttles to take people from Disney to the Pro Bowl because Disney is the headquarters of the Pro Bowl. They're doing a lot of the pre-things at the Wide World of Sports complex. Now, the football game is actually downtown in, what do they call it? I forgot to write it down. But the stadium there in Orlando. You can get there, Uber, Lyft, cab. I would recommend that you use the bus system, but not from Disney. It's just, you have to do 2 buses and they drop you off 20 minutes away. So the bus is just not a good option. The Lynx bus system at Disney. So will there be shuttles? I think there will be, but I can't find any information about it. So there you go. All right, let's see. Is this the last one? This is the last question. Okay. So actually, this is 2 questions. It's the same question asked twice. So I just put them together. It is literally the same question twice. The first one comes from Carrie in Springfield, Virginia. She says, Dear Dad, I wonder if you have the crowd numbers for this past week, the week after Thanksgiving. We were thinking of going that week in 2018 and saw that 2016 was very crowded, but wondered if 2017 was the same or if 2016 was a fluke. Wish we could go the week in December you recommended, but that doesn't work for us. Just wondering if you have numbers from last week. Thanks for your help, Carrie. And then the other question came from Jesse in Liberty, Alabama. What are crowds like this year for the week after Thanksgiving 2017? See, told you, same question. Week after Thanksgiving 2017. First off, I don't get any information from Disney on crowd numbers. Nobody does. It's one of the things that they are very restrictive about. They don't tell anybody what the crowd numbers are. I get my information from reports of people in the parks. And there's a couple other sources that I look at for information for the crowds. The week after Thanksgiving last year was pretty busy compared to years before. 2014 and before, that was one of the least busy weeks of the year. 2015, when Disney changed the ticketing structure, that all changed. When summertime, July 4th was not a busy day this year. It's always been one of the busiest days of the year until they did the change in the ticket structures. So this year, last year, crowds were up the week after Thanksgiving. Very noticeably up the week after Thanksgiving. This year, they weren't quite as high as last year. Now, they weren't back to the 2014 levels by any stretch of the imagination. But 2016 was like here, 2017, just kind of right below it. What you have the week after Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving Day, crowds are huge. Friday, crowds are huge. Saturday, crowds are big. Sunday, they're not quite as big. Monday, they're still kind of big. Then Tuesday, they go from heavy to moderate or low moderate. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, moderate, low moderate. And then they bounce back up for the weekend. Weekends are around Thanksgiving and all of December pretty much are pretty busy. But the middle of the weeks are not as busy. So during the middle of the week, the week after Thanksgiving, the crowds were moderate to low, but the weekend crowds were huge. So while it wasn't as crazy as last year, it wasn't back to the no crowd level. It's still a good time to go. You've got moderate or less crowds. Busy crowds on the weekend. There's always ways, I have my 4 ways to beat the crowds at Walt Disney World. You get to the parks early, you have a plan, you use Fast Pass Plus, and you ride the busy rides first. That's the way you beat the crowds at Walt Disney World. Whenever you're going. All right. So those are all the questions that we had from the Ask Dad page. Don't forget that we're going to give away a 1-year subscription to WDW Magazine here in just a few minutes when we get done today. So let's see. What are your crowds today? This last call, let's stick in questions. If you've got a question, stick it down in the comments and I'll answer it. All right, the first one comes from Miguel. He says, "Hey, Dad, great talk, news, tips. I've got a question. I have a reservation Monday to Friday, but my flight is coming in early Monday at 2 a.m. Is it better for me to make a reservation for Sunday? I don't want to arrive and my room isn't ready. I know that check-in is 3 p.m., so what is your tip? Thanks." Miguel, yeah, absolutely. If you're coming at 2 o'clock in the morning and you want a bed for the night, you need a reservation on Sunday. You will not get into your room at 2 o'clock for Monday. The official day, even if you were there at 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, you wouldn't get a room. 8 o'clock you might, but not any time before that. So if you want a bed for Sunday night, Monday morning, 2 a.m., absolutely, you need a reservation. We've done this before. We've arrived at Disney World at 2 o'clock in the morning. So you need a reservation for that day, the day before, because that is still, in hotel terms, considered the day before. Okay, here's the second question. We've got 3, 4 more. All right, so if you got one, put it in now. Hurry! Hi, Dad. Wrapping up our last couple of days at Walt Disney World. Congratulations, Pamela. You're at Walt Disney World. Try to see Stephanie. She's down there right now, too. I know, because she sent me a note. I haven't read the note yet, but she sent me a note, and that means she's there. It has been wonderful. I do have a quick question. Our son got sick and we skipped parks for a few days. We will have 4 days left on our 10-day tickets. Is there any way to extend them so they don't expire? Pamela, no, there really isn't. Used to, you could buy the never expire option, and it would keep those alive forever. Disney has done away with that option. Now, what I would recommend, I'd recommend that you just go ask somebody in a guest services booth. They might say, "Oh my, we're sorry. Here's a voucher for a 4-day ticket to use in the future." That thing happens regularly, but a way to extend the tickets themselves, no, there's just no way to do that. Rachel says, "Hey Dad, do you know anything about a pink card on Jungle Cruise CM would get when they get a compliment?" I don't know that exactly. I don't know that it may be, some of the rides do different things, and some of the rides, the Magic Kingdom may do something like that. I don't know anything about that. It's possible that it happens. I'm not saying it doesn't, but I don't know particularly about that. All right. Nancy asks, "Is it true you don't get to experience the full queue with Flight of Passage or with FastPass for Pandora's Flight of Passage?" Nancy, that is true. Just like a lot of the rides, Expedition Everest, Seven Dwarf Mine Train, Space Mountain, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, just pretty much all of the FastPass rides, even rides like Peter Pan's Flight, any kind of FastPass ride that's not a show, you don't get to experience the full queue, the full line. You don't get to, say like Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, you don't get to play all the games. You have to go on by. That's just the way the Fast Pass lines work. To get to experience the full queue, you have to go through the full line. Now, what I will say about Flight of Passage is that while you don't experience the full queue, most of the queue for Flight of Passage is just hallways. Now they're decorated like you would see like you would expect to see from the Avatar movies, but there's not a lot of interaction in the hallways. Where you get to the interaction, where you get to where the displays are, you walk by those as you're doing the Fast Pass queue. So you don't miss a lot in Flight of Passage like you would, say, in any of the other rides. The games that they have in Space Mountain, you don't get to experience. But you don't miss as much in Flight of Passage as you do in some of the other rides. Okay. We got 2 more questions. Nope, we got 1 more question. Here's the last question. Maybe we have 2. Valerie says, "My family is going in February, the 7th to the 14th. Is it warm enough to wear shorts?" Valerie, it very well could be. It's kind of hard to tell. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. If a cold front moves through, the average temperatures, if I remember right, in February, lows are about in the mid-50s, highs are the low 70s. So if it's warm, if it warms up a little bit, you could wear shorts. It kind of depends on your comfort level. I know last year we were there for Christmas. This week, last year, December, 12, 13, 14. We were there at that time. And December 13th, it was like 90 degrees. So while the averages are just averages, lows in the mid-50s, highs in it could be in the 70s and 80s. It could be in the 30s and 40s. That happens. Both of those happen in February. So it's one of those where, yes, it could happen, but just watch the weather. The Weather Channel, there's all kinds of weather apps out there where you can get the weather for 10 to 30 days in advance. It's not very accurate after 7 days. That's what our local weather people, actually, they say it's not very accurate after 4 days. But but you can get an idea of what the weather's going to be like when you're there. All right, last question, and we'll wrap it up. This one comes from Maria. Maria says, just back from Walt Disney World vacation, was saddened to see a definite difference in the cleanliness of the bathrooms. Disney standard way down. Sad. Staff is not happy and friendly to guests. We were there the week after Thanksgiving. What do you think? Maria, I think that is probably just a holdover from being there right after a busy time. And especially if you were there if you're talking about kind of over that weekend when it was still really busy. Because of the cuts that Disney has made to the cast members over the last few years, they aren't doing as good a job on cleanliness as they used to. There's no doubt about that. A lot of things are falling through the cracks that wouldn't have fallen through the cracks 5 years ago. Maybe I ought to rant about that here in the next couple weeks. Tati, I'm going to write that down. Maybe we'll do a rant about that. So things aren't as clean and as good as they've been in the past. But saying that, I know when we were there a couple of weeks before that, it was really nice. Everything was clean. There might have been a bathroom or two that wasn't quite as clean as others, but for the most part, everything was just tip-top shape. And that was kind of in a slower period. That was the second week of November, and it was this is the first week in November. End of December, first week of November. So it's kind of between busy times. So if you're there during a busy time, we were there one weekend in Epcot for the Food and Wine Festival where there were huge crowds and it was just nasty everywhere. It wasn't very Disney-like. But if you're there during busy periods, yeah, you're really going to notice that. If you're there during slow periods, it's not nearly as bad. So there has been a definite shift, and it's not as good. Absolutely. All right, so that's it. Wow, an hour's gone by already. It's more than an hour and 1 minute. All right, first we want to thank Celebration Shirts for sponsoring Lunch with Dad. Give them a look. Go over to the Facebook page, facebook.com/Celebration Shirts. If you buy something from Celebration Shirts, use the code SFM, and you'll get 10% off. We also have to give away our 1 year subscription to WDW Magazine, and the big winner is Gail Solomita, Solomita. Gail, send congratulations. Number one, we're going to get you a 1 year subscription to WDW Magazine and some cool stuff that goes along with it. But just send us a message, and I need your email address basically to set you up, but just send us a message and we'll get you set up with a 1 year subscription to WDW Magazine. All right. Don't forget, Official Ticket Tip Center has 3-day base tickets upgraded to Park Hopper passes. That's pretty cool. And look for posts from our Stephanie. She's going to be in the parks this week. Stephanie is just really special. I wish you all could meet her. In fact, if you have WDW Magazine, there are ways you can do that. But anyway, I hope you had a great week this week. Hope you have a great week next week. We'll be back next Friday at the same bat time, same bat channel. We'll see y'all next week. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for watching Dad's video. For more simple, fun, magic Walt Disney World information, go to Dad's Guide to WDW.com. You can do that by clicking the I button that's popping up on the screen right now. If you like this video, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel and get more Dad's YouTube videos with Daditude.